channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. So today let's talk about being sober-minded. And this is just from my opinion and the way that I view that saying, that terminology, whatever you want to call it. But being sober-minded is just having a clear focus, being available to be able to hear and to see and to just exist with the reality that's around you, in my mind. So that, like, stop getting drunk, stop just chasing after bottles and things like that. I know this is a time where we're living where there's a lot of stress going on. There's a lot of things that we're just unsure about, a lot of uncertainties, right? We're hearing about, a lot of people losing their lives. We're hearing about shootings and just innocent people being harmed, and then the inflation going on. It's just a lot that's going on right now that it does make you feel like you're going crazy, because you don't know, like, could you be next? Could you walk outside and be a person that's caught up in some ignorant activities that's going through somebody else's mind? You're on somebody's agenda, something that's on their bucket list that's absurd. Could you? You know what I'm saying? These thoughts do go through my mind as well. But turning to alcohol or marijuana or any other type of drugs or, sex, all this kind of stuff is really just making it where we're just not sober-minded. We're trying to push everything. We're trying to find ways to make ourselves feel better in the situations that we're facing in life. It's like anything that gives us a temporary high, takes the pain away, takes the feelings, the thoughts, the fears, all the emotions away, and just gives us that feeling of euphoria for a moment. We just want to do that. But then what happens when we get caught up in that is we don't become sober-minded anymore. Of course, with alcohol and drugs, we already know you're out of your mind, you're out of your elements when you're drinking, especially when you're getting drunk or you're getting, high off of drugs. You're not in your mind anymore. That's just clear as day. I mean, I remember a time when I was in my younger 20s and I just couldn't wait to go to the club and go party and turn up for the day or for the night or for the weekend. I used to party really hard, like Wednesday through Saturday. Just always trying to find somewhere to go party and turn up. And I just thought that was fun. But really, when I think back on that was during a time where I was really lost. I was really confused. I just didn't know myself. And I was hiding from myself because I just didn't like who I was. And the reason I didn't like who I was is because I listened to whatever society was saying about me. I carried on childhood bruises into my adulthood. I never dealt with it. I was just holding on to being bullied and negatively talked about, and just holding on to all the things that just wasn't true about me. But because I didn't know myself, and at that time I wasn't connected with God, so of course I didn't know myself, because to truly know yourself, in my opinion, to truly know yourself is to know God, so that God can show you who you are and help you to open your eyes and take off the veil over your eyes to see who you are. And back then God was there in my vocabulary. I knew He existed in my mind and in my heart, but that was it. Like, God say on the other side of that door, I'm gonna keep this door shut. You stay out there. If I need you, I'll call you. That's the kind of attitude I had. And I was really broken back in my early 20s. I was hurting. I was confused on life. I mean, I was just doing things out of confusion, out of fear, didn't want to be alone, didn't want, to not fit in. I didn't want to not feel wanted or needed or anything like that. So I was just, doing everything opposite of what I'm doing now today. But back then it was just like I was, hurting, and to mask that pain and to not have to talk about it, and to not be honest and truthful with myself, and to not have to call on God during that time, because I didn't want to change my ways. I wanted to still live in the sin that I was living in. Not saying I don't live in sin now, because I still do. I'm human just like you. I'm not saying this to be like I'm better than anybody just because I gave my life back to Christ. That's not me even trying to tell you that that's what you should do. But I'm just telling you my story. But back to what I was saying, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to call on God, even though I felt like I was drowning internally, because I knew, like, if I was to say, God, please help me, I was going to have to give something up in order for him to work in my life. And, you know, and that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I knew that because I was raised in the church. So I knew, you know, I wanted to rebel. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And because of me just doing what I wanted to do, I suffered a lot of pain, a lot of emptiness, a lot of dark times, a lot of feeling alone, just a lot of like emptiness, you know? So what I did was I just masked it with alcohol. Never was a person was into drugs or anything like that, thank God. But I was masking it with alcohol pretty heavy at one point. And then clubbing and partying and, you know, just hiding behind that, thinking I was living a life. In the moment, you get that kind of, that feeling where it's like, okay, yeah, like euphoria. Like, oh, I feel like I'm just, you know, living the best life. I'm having so much fun. But when the alcohol wears down and you really start to feel, you know, the reality that now you may be coming down from a hangover. And then on top of that, you have to deal with, oh man, I shouldn't have did that. Like some thoughts will start coming back to you and be like, oh, I wore that last night. Oh, and then your friends start telling you, girl, you was so drunk. You was, you know, you was laid out in the club. You was, you know, you just start taking your clothes out, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And then you feel ashamed and embarrassed. And what do? You again? You try to re-mask or hide behind that embarrassment and shame, and now you're back to doing the same thing, and you're never sober minded. I didn't find myself back in that time. I mean, some people, you could say you did, you know, kudos to you. Let me know how you did it, but I never was able to find myself during that time because I was never sober minded. I didn't know me because I never dealt with me. I never acknowledged what was going on. I never knew the true, genuine me without the turn up me. The turn up me was that fierce side, that one that was going to go out, have a good time. I didn't have to deal with nothing. I was going to have fun. It's going to get wild. I almost got in fights sometimes. I had people videoing me, you know, doing the most, you know, not nothing real wild, but wild enough where it's embarrassing to me to this day, twerking and all that kind of stuff. To, you know, just way back when I just didn't, you know, I let the alcohol speak for me, and that's who I thought I was. So once I became sober minded and I started to realize I did not have to, if I wanted to have a drink, I didn't have to get drunk, and that wasn't, you know, me drinking is not me having fun. It doesn't equate to the same thing. It doesn't equate to me having a good time. It wasn't a guaranteed good time for me. So now I can have a glass of wine. Sometimes I don't even drink. Sometimes I'll go out with my friends and we'll maybe hang out, maybe go to brunch and I'll have some water, or most of the time maybe a pop or something, you know, and I'm okay with that. Or I may have a glass of mimosa or something. But I feel completely fine. I feel so much better because I now know who I am. And I know now the type of woman that I want to present to the world. That turn up, getting high, getting drunk, all that extra stuff that me and my friends were doing back in the day is no longer pleasing or even desirable in my eyes, and is not acceptable for my life. So, you know, we just really have to get in a space where we become sober minded. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to be about outside substances. And even if you're medicating, not self-medicating, but if you're medicating off of medications the doctors gave you, be careful with that too. Because a lot of times those medications, they have side effects with people that think of harming themselves, or they become depressed, you know, or they're taking a medication for depression, but it causes them to have thoughts of harming other people. You know, like I say, if you can, stay away from it. Stay away from anything that's not natural, because you really, you will not be able to hear, especially for my believers, you will not be able to hear the voice of God. You will not be able to be led by him. You will not be able to know who you are until you get your mind free and open to be able to do so. I'm telling you, that decision I made was to stop with all the drinking. That was my thing. I had friends that was into other things, drinking and smoking. I had friends that was, you know, into, you know, medicating, you know, getting high off the drugs that was given to them by doctors and stuff like that. It's not okay. It doesn't get you anywhere, because in that moment it like takes over you. You think like, oh yeah, I'm fine, but you looking crazy out here. I'm telling you, like, And when I used to see videos back, like when my friends at the time, we would, you know, video and all that and act all crazy on Facebook and just really embarrassing stuff. But I was seeing, I'm like, I am despised of that chick that I used to be back in the day. I don't ever want to be her. Ever. I don't want my daughter to grow up and be her. You know, but, you know, I know we go through our cycles and you have to experience life on your own. But I'm just saying, if I could stop you from doing it, please, by all means, stay away from it. Just really, it's nothing wrong with being sober-minded. You think clever, you know better, you hear, you're able to think with more logic. Things make more sense. You're not just doing things because you have substances in your body overtaking it, or you're so high off of sex and that's all you care about. You know you ain't supposed to be with this person ain't good for you, but you're just so high off of the sex you guys have, like you just feel like this is the one. And God's trying to tell you, like, no, that person's not the one for you. I have better for you, or someone more fitting for you, but you're stuck on this person and you're doing crazy things, breaking up their stuff, fighting, going to jail, you know, going through all kinds of crazy things because of you're just high off of, you're lusting off of this person's sex. Been there before too. Not psycho, you know, but been there doing crazy things, you know, just constantly taking myself through stuff I didn't have to deal with if I was sober-minded. If I was focused in on who Shamika was. If I was focused in on the life that God was trying to tell me that was for me. If I was more focused and not just clouding my mind with things that was not of him or things that he did not want for my life, then I would have been so much better off in life right now. So much better off. I mean, it's never too late to start over, as you see. I did it, you know, and it's only been a few years for me, but it still was a process. And I look back to all my 20s. That's 10 whole years, not including part of my teenage years of rebellion, you know, just being clouded with the world, clouded with nonsense, things that didn't add any value to my life. What did I get out of it? Had issues with my mom because of it, had a child as a teenager, was in unhealthy relationships, couldn't figure out how, for the sake of me, to have a decent relationship because my mom was so clouded. I didn't know no better because I didn't know me and I didn't know what I even wanted you know, especially if I didn't know what I wanted for myself, how could I know how to please my partner? But that's something y'all need to really think about. It's okay to be sober-minded. It's okay to be different. It's okay to tell yourself, no, I don't need this right now. You know, it's okay to, you know, not jump into bed with people super fast. You don't even know if you even like the person. Not alone if you want to be with a person for a lifetime, if y'all end up having a baby, or if you trust them enough that they'll tell you the truth that they don't have anything. You don't even know. You're just jumping into bed thinking that's love and that's gonna make you feel love, but it's not. It's just, you need to get down to what it really is. Something in you is broken. Something in you is hurting. And that's why you feel like you have to run to these things outside of yourself, outside of God, outside of whatever you believe in, outside of your higher power. This is why you're running to that stuff, thinking it's going to heal you, make you feel better. But honestly, be honest, once the sex is over, once the high comes down, once the alcohol is gone, once the weekend is over, what do you feel like? Be honest with yourself. What do you feel like? You don't feel good, do you? A lot of times you feel shameful. But that's just my opinion. I've been through it. I'm not judging you at all. Like I said, it's only been a couple years for me where I've honestly just been working on me, focusing on being a healthier version of myself, staying out of bed with people, you know, being honest with myself 100%, the things that I know isn't right or the things that I don't like about myself and I want to fix. I've been working on that. I've been working on, you know, staying focused on the goals that I have for myself, staying focused on the way that I want to show up in the world. That's what I've been doing over the last couple of years. It hasn't been easy. It definitely was extremely hard when I first started the journey, but as time has gone on, it's a beautiful journey. And it's such a blessing to be in the position I am right now because I'm nothing like what I used to be in my early 20s, even to the end of my 20s. During the end of my 20s, it was more me being sad and depressed, feeling all the time and just unhappy. because I was running from myself. And I was using, hanging out, being a funny chick, partying and laughing and, joking. But inside, I just really wanted somebody to hug me. I just really wanted somebody to ask me, are you really okay? And not try to spare my business. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I really wanted. But I just always found something to hide behind. I was never sober-minded. Not until God made me get alone, be in a position where I had to face life alone. That's when I became sober-minded. That's when I was able to hear more clearly. And I stayed, now I don't go out that much because I don't have friends like that. And I'm in a whole new territory, a whole new state, a whole new city. So I have no choice but to live day by day the best that I can. And I'm learning that I can have fun and drink a bottle of water if I wanted to. I can have fun and just go walk the park. I can have fun and just sit at somebody's house and just laugh and watch TV and eat crackers and pizza and all that kind of stuff. I could still have the same amount of fun that I thought I was having when I used to be in the club, shaking my tail, acting a fool, looking crazy, having people not respect me. And they didn't even know that I was the woman that I am now. I was masking her, what I thought the world wanted, so that I could fit in. Because inside, this is who I wanted to be all along. But on the outside, I didn't want to show up that way because I didn't want people to say, oh, she's boring, or, oh, let's stay away from her, like, she's not fun. And I didn't want that. So I put her in a ugly box, a ugly beat up box. And that's how I presented myself to the world. Now, she got to have the finest box, finest rapper, finest everything. Because I'm no longer that broken person. And I know my worth and I know what I deserve now. But it took for me to get alone and get sober-minded, where I was not trying to hide from myself. And I was not trying to hide from the reality of the things that went on in my life or happened in my life, or even bad things that I've even done. Instead of me hiding from that, masking it with substances or things that were not aligned with what God wanted for my life, it wasn't until that time where I just wiped it clean, and I feel better. I'm healthier. I feel more alert. I feel more happy. I feel more vibrant, and you can too. If you're struggling with anything like that, please, please, please seek help. I went through counseling. I did a year of counseling. Some of the toughest times, but most rewarding times in my life. You should do it. And I still feel like I need counseling, honestly. So if you can do, especially if your job offers it, do it. It's so beneficial, and in the end, you will be thankful that you've done it. And in that way, you can start clearing out all the baggage, all the things out of your closet that you didn't want to deal with. And then on top of that, you can connect to your higher power. You can connect to God. You can connect to Jesus. And then when you connect to them, then you're going to see yourself so much more beautifully, because they're going to give you eyes that they see you through. And then you're going to begin to glow. You're just going to feel like the most beautiful woman, beautiful man. I swear, it's crazy. You're going to wake up one day and just feel like nothing can touch you. And you're going to be okay with it, because you're walking in your truth. You're walking in who you're called to be. But do let me know what you think in the comment box below. Sorry this video was long. I just really wanted to share that with y'all. Again, put whatever you want in the comments. Let me know your testimonies, or if you have questions or anything. I'm pretty honest. I will let you know, so we can definitely have a video on it. Just let me know if there's something that you want to talk about, and we will keep the conversation going. All I ask is that you continue to be polite and courteous, because someone out there is reading your comments, including myself. Therefore, we don't want to lower anyone's spirits. Our job here is to uplift one another, keep each other smiling, keep each other with hope. So let me know what you think in the comments box below. We'll keep the conversation going, and we will talk next time. Bye.